Welcome back to episode 160 of the ATD Baseball Podcast. Kyle, it is our last episode of 2025. It's kind of crazy. As you can tell, I have dressed for the occasion. I have my little hat on as we are less than 72 hours away from 2026. And we have, thankfully, a lot of topics to discuss here before we end the year on a high note. But before we get into all of that, Kyle, how are you doing today, and how was your Christmas? Hopefully Santa Claus was good to you over the last couple days.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I got sick over the last few days, so obviously you can definitely tell that. I've been chugging Dayquil like it's going out of style, man. It's kind of crazy. But to answer your question, I'm doing very well, man. I had a great Christmas. Yeah, obviously basically officially reached the halfway point of the off season, which is always great, but we still have a load of free agents who are still not signed. We're about 6 weeks away until um, until teams have to start reporting for spring training, and we got some big names still out on the free agent market. So it'll be very interesting to see how this all plays out. Um, it's happened a few years ago too, and usually we reach a point mid January maybe this starts picking up, and these guys are going to want to get signed. So but yeah, no. Overall, man, I'm doing pretty well. How are you doing? How was your Christmas?
I am doing fantastic, of course, as this shit starts bugging out now. Um, had a good Christmas. It was very nice. Got to spend some time with some family. That's always good. And yeah, I can't believe this is the last episode of 2025. It's kind of gone by quick, but look out to at the end of this episode, we will be having our New Year's resolutions as of course we'll close out the year, which is, and it's not, doesn't have to be personal or anything. It's just more like about your team and stuff, like things that you want to improve upon, like going into 2026. For example, one of my New Year's resolutions for my team that going into next year is don't take the regular season so seriously. Like just be able
Okay.
roll with the punches. That's one of my New Year's resolutions next year. That's just a little example for you, but we'll have that at the end. But to answer your question, um, doing fantastic, and yeah, can't believe we're at the end here. I can't wait to do at the end here. I'm gonna reflect a little bit, of course, on the year, so very excited about that. But um, also too, just slipped my mind. It was a wet Christmas out here in Southern California. It was raining, and it is gonna rain again later this week. I'm talking like New Year's Eve, New Year's Day. It's gonna rain basically after Tuesday the rest of the week. So, my brother and I are going to the Rose Bowl game again this year. We're gonna be freezing our ass off because it's gonna be pouring the whole freaking day. So, but we are prepared. So, but anyway, getting into some of these topics here, we have, of course, the signings. We have Jeff McNeil completely getting dumped and traded to the Sacramento A's. That feels weird to say now. We got a Tyler Strodom extension with the A's. We got Bryce Harper, WBC, confirmed last week. That was fantastic news. And we have Andrew Heaney, Dodgers legend, retiring. Um, he announced his retirement last night. And yeah, we'll just kind of, give his little flowers and farewell. But we're going to start with some of these signings. Nothing crazy. We're still waiting on Bichette. We're still waiting on Tucker. We're still waiting on some of the other these guys. But in the meantime, we still have some free agents and some trades to discuss. I guess we'll just start right here since it's the first one with Jeff McNeil. So the Mets. So basically, let me get this straight. So anybody that David Stearns didn't trade for or didn't sign, you're getting the boot, unless your name is Francisco Lindor. Who knows about him? Or Juan Soto. But Jeff McNeil traded to the Sacramento A's. Um, Again, the Mets have kind of had a disappointing offseason up to this point, but hopefully, they'll start getting some players in because I know this was one of the other Mets fan favorites here. So sucks to see it, but kind of for Jeff McNeil, a little bit of a fresh start too, getting out of New York, going to Sacramento, and hey, man, the A's kind of got something cooking over there a little bit. They got these young pieces, and now they're bringing in some veteran guys. Maybe the A's are going to be more competitive in 2026, and that's good, especially when this team is going to go to Vegas in the next 2 years. So yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. This this okay, so this always happens to us, right? It seems like every single time that we record a podcast, the moment we get off, there's a signing, there's something big in the news. The moment we get off the podcast, and that's exactly what happened with Jeff McNeil. I remember we texted you. I was in the middle of editing this last week's podcast when this news dropped. This doesn't come as a shock to me. I mean, we kind of knew that Jeff McNeil was on his way out. Um, and the athletics just kind of didn't make sense to me, right? Um, it, I never saw this happening. I mean, you know, I guess if anything, it brings the veteran leadership. Jeff McNeil, I still think he's a solid bat with a solid glove. He's an overall solid player. He's a good player, right? It seemed like he needed a new home, like a new scenery, change of scenery, because it was very clear that he was going to be on his way out. It seems like David Stearns just wants all these guys out and wants to start with a clean slate. Which, hey, if that's what he wants to do, so be it. He's the GM. Looking at Jeff McNeil, though, of what he brings to the Athletics, I mean, he's spent 8 seasons in the majors, all with the Mets. He came up through the farm system, 284 batting average, 351 OBP, 428 slugging, with just under an 800 OPS. This guy slugged 80 homers in his 8-year career, and he has just under 1,000 hits. So I mean, yeah, he's a productive player, right? He's a guy who's going to slide into this young A's lineup, and he's going to hit. That's what it comes down to. I don't know what Vegas slash Sacramento is doing here, really. Because it seems like for years they were just so hell bent on not spending any money. Um, this one just really doesn't make sense to me. I didn't see him going to the A's, but hey, it'll be interesting to see the way that it plays out. Yeah, it's an overall weird trade to me. Just doesn't make much sense on the A's side, but for the Mets, I guess it was kind of like I wouldn't even say salary dump. He's on the final year of a 4-year contract. And then, he's going to be a free agent after this year. They didn't get much in return. They got a 17-year-old who played in rookie ball last year. So it's not like they're getting immediate, production. I truly think that it's just David Stearns trying to clear house, honestly. So it's going to be interesting to see how it goes. But kind of just piggybacking on this trade, um, it seems like the Mets, right? They have a bit of a problem with Francisco Lindor. It seems like all these players were kind of traded due to Francisco Lindor. Now, I don't know, from what I've been hearing, it might be a little bit of politics and stuff like that,
Let's
but
get
it
into
seems
that.
like that.
No,
Yeah. It seems like that clubhouse was in a bit of turmoil a little bit, which we really didn't hear reports on throughout all of the 2025 season. But I guess it kind of makes sense, right? It seems like this clubhouse was never truly together, and their record kind of shows that, man. This team, they were doing really good, and then they kind of fell straight on their asses again and missed the playoffs in total. So um, it's very interesting to hear the reports coming out now because we didn't hear anything about that in the 2025 season. But yeah, back on Jeff McNeil. Um, Good for him. He gets a fresh start. It seems like it was needed. So it'll be interesting to see how he fits into this young clubhouse. Um, I think it's got to be good, right? So we'll see where it goes. But it's kind of my 2 cents on it.
absolutely. And again, The Mets better start signing some pieces here, man. We're approaching January 1st, like I said, in less than 72 hours. And it seems like once we get to the new year, it is a sprint to get to Arizona and Florida for spring training. Because,
Yep.
like I said, January is going to go like this because, everybody's going to be watching football, the playoffs, and everything. And then once we have the Super Bowl in February, then all right, boom, here we go. Guys are starting to show up for spring training, and boy, if you're the Mets, if you're David Stearns, man, you better start signing some pieces, man, because this
Yep.
team is not complete right now, and there's a lot of questions that are just unanswered right now, and obviously a lot of fans want to know answers, and they deserve the right to know the answers. But it's just a lot of rumors going around. It's a lot of kind of bad press too, especially around Francisco Lindor right now.
Mm.
Juan Soto going on podcast talking about women that he likes. So um, the Mets got to start signing some pieces here, man. But again, it's not time to panic yet. We still got plenty of time in the off season, but fans are not going to be happy when they show up for spring training and it's an incomplete team. I'm sorry, that's just the way it is. Especially after giving Soto the big contract last off season, and all we've heard from especially John Heyman, because he's covers the New York teams pretty closely. But immediately every time one of these players gets traded, John Heyman will come out and say, "Oh, no worry, players are coming. There's gonna be guys that are coming in." It's December 29th. Yeah, and these free agents are slowly starting to drop. Like, but we're gonna get to a point where it's only gonna be the big fish. Bellinger, Bichette, Tucker. Like, we'll see. But the Mets got a lot of work to do, and they're kind of running out of time. But we'll see what they continue to do. We're gonna jump over here. Ryan O'Hearn, 2-year deal with the Pittsburgh Pirates. How about it? Um, Pirates kind of taking the reins as one of the winners of the offseason so far. Signed a 2-year, $29 million deal with the Pirates. Um, I like it. I like it. Of course, the Padres probably weren't going to bring him back. He had a decent year last year. He hit 281, 17 home runs, 63 RBIs, had over 100 hits. Not bad. And again, he's going to an Orioles team. I mean, sorry, not an Orioles. He's going to the Pirates, to where, again, I said this last week. It's amazing what one person, how much influence one person can have. Paul Skeens comes out and says, "Hey, like, I want to win. I want to win here, and we have to bring in some more pieces." So far, they've done that. So this Pirates team, again, kind of maybe starting to turn the tide a little bit. Again, I'm not saying they're going to win 90 games and win the division or anything like that, but it's nice to see some of these smaller market teams spend money, make trades, just try to improve their team and make it better. And that's all we want, for baseball. And some of these other teams that we know are kind of not really looking to spend or make their team better. And Pirates so far have done that, and I like this deal a lot for the Pirates. And yeah, yeah, the smaller market teams are having a moment right now, which is kind of crazy. Some of these big market teams have kind of been a little quiet, or not really willing to spend open their checkbook a little bit. And you got teams like the A's, the Pirates, the Orioles, even. Good for them. Good for them. This is their time to shine right now.
Absolutely. I've been a huge supporter of what the Pirates are doing this offseason. You and I being fans of probably the two biggest markets in baseball, in all of sports, to be quite honest with you. Um, we want to see more of this, right? Because we're not really in favor of the salary cap, this, that, and the other. In Major League Baseball, we think that these owners should be spending more, and that's exactly what the Pirates are doing. That's what we're seeing out of the Athletics, like you said, and that's what we want to see more of, right? Like when Kyle Schwarber came out, that he got a contract offer from the Pirates. I think that's such a beautiful thing, because like that's literally what we've been asking for. That's what we want. So for the fact that the Pirates are willingly spending this type of money is it says a lot, and I really hope that this continues because in my opinion, there's no reason why Paul Skeens should pitch for any other club. Like as much as I would like him on the Yankees, as much as you would like him on the Dodgers, he that's not what it should be in my opinion. It should be he's a homegrown talent from Pittsburgh and he should be a Pittsburgh Pirate for life. And I hope that's what happened, like what is going to happen truly because I think it's good for the sport. Um, so, in my opinion, the fact that the Pirates are bringing in these guys, it says a lot. And Ryan O'Hearn, I believe I saw something where that's their first like multi-year signing in the offseason in like 10 years, dude. That's nuts. I personally didn't see it being Ryan O'Hearn, but hey, good for him, man. He got a nice little payday. Um, yeah, you kind of touched on his stats a little bit from last year. Um, he's a decent player, man, right? So he's going to be the cornerstone of the infield. He's going to be playing first base. Last year he hit. Okay, there was two teams because he was traded.
Right.
So 281, 366, 437. That's solid numbers, man. He had 17 homers. Um, yeah, he's not going to wow you. Yeah, he had 133 hits. It's a career high. And he was an all-star last year. So he's coming off of a career year. Um, and yeah, these numbers aren't going to wow you if you're a big market team. But for a team like Pittsburgh, he's going to come in and be a difference maker, in my opinion. Um, I think he's got a good swing that fits well with PNC Park, and I'm just hoping that this is it's kind of a taste of what the Pirates do become. So for the fact I really like what they did this offseason, man, bringing in Brandon Lau, um, bringing in Ryan O'Hearn now. I think they're building a little bit of something to pair with this young core, and I think that's huge. And so hats off to the Pirates, and I hope it continues, man. I truly do. And at this point, hey, bring in Kyle Tucker. I don't care. I think that would be pretty cool, But yeah, so good for the Pirates and good for Ryan O'Hearn. He got a nice little payday.
Continue to bounce around the free agent signings. I should have kept these two guys together, but because of the same team. But let's go back to the A's. How about Tyler Strodham getting a contract extension? I believe it was on Christmas Day too. So
Yeah,
Merry Christmas to the Strodham family, getting a nice little payday, a seven year. Um, damn it, I just had it right here. A 7 year, $86 million deal to stay in Sacramento, Vegas for the foreseeable future. Had a good year last year. The thing that I like the most about this, he played 158 games last year, which is the most of his short career right now. But still, you like guys like that that'll play 155 to 160 games a year. Had an OPS over 800. Batted close to 280. Had 25 home runs. Almost had 100 RBIs. 50 walks. I'm telling you, man, the A's are building something here again. With Nick Kurtz, I say it slowly. Tyler Strodham, other pieces here that they have. Hey man, maybe that A's team going to Vegas is going to be pretty good in year one because they're starting to kind of build some household faces. You saw that with Nick Kurtz this past year, and hey man, they're building something, and I like that they're not wasting anybody's time like this. They're locking down one of their cornerstone pieces that they believe can help them be successful in the future, and I like it. I like it. I like it. I like it. Again, these small market teams that we haven't heard much about in previous off seasons, making contract extensions, trading for pieces. I love it, and good for the A's, man. You haven't heard that in a while. Good for the A's. You haven't heard that in a while, so I like it. Very nice.
absolutely. This A's team, I really like the young core they're building, right? I think they now have three guys under a really like long-term extensions, right? So you now have Tyler Soderstrom, you have Brent Rooker, and Lawrence Butler, I believe, also signed an extension. This is a good young core of guys, and um, Soderstrom last year, he had a really nice season. 4.3 WAR. I mean, you kind of touched on a little bit. 25 homers. He was in that homer race for a little bit at the beginning of the year.
Yep.
276, 346, 474 slash line, and he had an OPS of 820. I mean, that's a good season, man. That is, and that's not something I want to overlook. I truly believe that he could have been an all-star last year, but obviously, all-star, it is what it is because there's so many guys who have good seasons, and yeah, you're gonna have snubs, and in my opinion, he was one of them. I really like what the A's are doing here, and for their move to Las Vegas. I mean, if you can bring a young core of guys who's going to be there for quite some years now, um, I think that's huge for what you're building. So, hey, John Fisher, man, hey, you're finally doing some good. I wish it was in Oakland, personally,
Yep.
but uh, but hey, it's better late than never. So, hats off to him, which I didn't think I'd be saying that anytime soon,
Whoa.
but hats off to him, and and this A's team, I really like what they're doing. Soderstrom deserved this, and I think it's only a matter of time before Kurtz gets locked down too. So I hope that it's the same thing with the Pirates too. I want them to start locking down these young guys and start being more aggressive on the trade market, being more aggressive in the free agent market. Um, because I think if you could build that young core and then bring a big free agent in, I think it's going to do you wonders, especially for baseball as well. So if you can start, keep going on this trajectory and what you're doing and what you're building there, um, I think it's I think it's such a good thing for baseball. So props to the A's and congrats to Tyler Soderstrom. It was definitely well deserved. And also too, before we move on, that is such a team friendly deal. I
Yep.
love that. Dude, 86 million for a guy like Soderstrom. I mean, he's proved that he's worth it. And I almost and he is so versatile, man. Like his positions that are just off of baseball reference, first base, left field, catcher. Like those are some crazy some crazy positions, but this is guy he's kind of a utility piece. He can almost play anywhere. For 86 million for a guy like that, it's high risk, almost no I'm sorry, it's almost no risk, almost always a high reward. Because if this guy doesn't pan out, hey, it's 86 million. Am I right? It's not like a guy like Soto who's costing you over 400 million, a guy like Judge who's costing you 360, a guy like Otani was 700. Um, yeah, so overall, I think this is such a good deal, truly. So props to every party involved here because I think it was good for both sides.
Peter Fairbanks going from one Florida team to the other. 1 year, $13 million with the Miami Marlins. Again, what the hell is going? This is the small market episode, I guess, with all these signings. Um, I know the Dodgers. I know at the beginning of this offseason, there was a lot of Dodger fans that were looking at Peter Fairbanks and said, "Hey, if you whiff on Devin Williams, if you whiff on Edwin Diaz, are the numbers too high?" Peter Fairbanks would have been a guy that we would have liked to have. He's going to Miami, and immediately when we posted that, there was a lot of teams like Mets, Yankees. Why couldn't we do that? How come we couldn't get that? 1 year, $13 million. Good for the Marlins. Again, all the teams should be in on a piece like that for that much for one season. But shout out to the Marlins. I like it, and this is a movable contract. I can definitely see if the Marlins are not good next year, he can definitely get moved at the trade deadline. Especially it's only one. It is a rental. It's a 1 year, but if you're a team like the Phillies, the Dodgers, Yankees, like I think the teams that were interested in him in the offseason are still going to be interested in him when we get to July. And if the Marlins are no good and they're looking to ship off pieces, I think Peter Fairbanks will be one of those trade market value pieces. But I like it for the Marlins. I just don't understand why some of these other teams weren't interested more.
Absolutely. I'm gonna say this right now. For somebody who has seen Pete Fairbanks for the last like 6 years, he was obviously came from Tampa Bay. This guy is fucking nails. And I was basically pleading with the Yankees to sign this guy. I love what Pete Fairbanks brings. He plays with emotion, he plays with passion, and he's a guy out there who you can depend on literally every year. For the past 5 seasons, he has been a lockdown reliever for Tampa Bay. Um, this is a guy, I'm calling it right now. This is a guy who I can see is going to lose some big games for these other teams. Right? I can see this guy coming in on a 2-1 lead against the Phillies and spoiling a few wins against Philly. You know, the Marlins aren't going to make any noise next year, but they are going to win a few games with Pete Fairbanks. I love what this guy brings, and for 13 million, you can't put a price on that. This guy pitched to a 2.83 ERA last year across 60 innings. That was a career high in innings. Um, so he's basically coming off of a career year. He had 59 strikeouts, which is probably second or third most in his career. Um, he only allowed 19 earned runs. That's 7 homers. I mean, 1.2 WAR out of a reliever who pitched 60 innings. I Sign me up for 13 million, honestly. So this is great for Miami. Kind of on Pittsburgh and what we've been talking about with God, the A's. That's the other team. So Pittsburgh and the A's, and now Miami. I mean, I love these. I love these signings, and I want to see more. Hey, if the Yankees are going to lose out on Pete Fairbanks, I'm okay with him going to Miami. It is what it is. But I love this deal for Miami, and I think for Fairbanks, like he doesn't have to move far.
No,
He's going from Tampa Bay to Miami, and hey, he might like playing in Florida. Maybe these other teams did offer him good contracts. Maybe the Yankees, the Phillies, the Mets, the Dodgers, the Red Sox, the Cubs. Any of these teams could have offered him something. He could have turned it down to go play in to stay in Florida. Maybe he likes Florida. I wouldn't blame him. But
yeah, you've been there a
but yeah,
bunch.
no, absolutely. That's where I'll be living one day. It's just a matter of time. But anyway, great signing for Miami. It's good for Pete Fairbanks. He gets a payday, and he hasn't had to move far. So this is a good signing overall, and I love this move.
Some of the other signings, you don't have to, you know, touch upon them, but just to mention them. Ravi Schneider signed with the 1 year with the Mariners, and Zach Eflin returning to the Orioles on a 1 year deal. So there's
Good,
uh there's all your other
good for them.
signings. Yep, good for them. And we'll touch on Andrew Heaney here, then we'll get into some of the other stuff. Andrew Heaney announced his retirement yesterday. Um, Good for him. He is one of these guys that will be, and already is, an MLB grid legend because he played for a bunch of teams, of course. Um, Obviously, won the World Series with the Texas Rangers in 23. He also played, of course, with the Dodgers, the Yankees, the Angels, the Marlins, the Pirates, whole bunch of teams in there. But um, I remember having him in 2022. Andrew Heaney, that was a lot of fun to watch. That was a weird year for the Dodgers. They won 116 games, and they had like three lefties. They had Kershaw, they had Tyler Anderson, and they had Andrew Heaney making starts. Um, but of course, 2023 World Series champion with the Texas Rangers, um, finished his career with 56 wins, ERA of 4.57. Um, Pitched 130 games. Games started at 100, 208. Um, yeah, again, of course, not going to the Hall of Fame or anything like that, but kind of one of those guys like in 20 years, 25 years, where you just bringing up random pitchers. Hey, remember Andrew Heaney? Remember him? That's gonna be one of them, and of course, he's a World Series champion with the Texas Rangers, so of course he can probably do no wrong in Texas. So hell of a career, kind of a journeyman almost a little bit. Good for him. Happy retirement.
Absolutely. I remember his time with the Yankees. It was not a it was not a memorable time. Pitched to a 7.32 ERA. But hey, this guy goes out a World Series champion. Hey, he pitched he pitched 2 innings for your 2025 World
Damn
Series
right.
champs
Damn
uh,
right. So he's a
with
two-time
a
champ.
13.50
Yeah,
ERA.
we don't talk about that. That's why I
Hey,
didn't
you know
mention it.
what? We're talking about his retirement, and he has something on me that I'll never be able to say. He's a World Series champion, so good for him, man. I wish him the best in retirement. Your time in New York was not memorable, but you know what? It is what it is. There's plenty of players like that. So, congrats to him, and I hope he enjoys retirement.
God, he had a 3.10 ERA with the Dodgers in 2022. God, he made
Solid.
14 starts. Was 4-4. Jesus, yeah. I remember that, but yeah, happy retirement. But let's get into the big news here. How about Team USA continuing to get stacked? And we came on here a week ago saying, hey, that first base void is still open. Of course, I wanted Max Muncy, but listen, I know that wasn't going to happen, obviously. That wasn't going to happen. I would have loved to, but it wasn't going to happen. Really, it seems like the only choices they had was either Pete Alonso or Bryce Harper. Or, put one of these other guys. I heard Will Smith maybe could play first. That wasn't going to happen. They were going to get somebody an everyday first baseman. They probably got the big fish out of all of them outside of Mike Trout. Because obviously you had Judge on the team already. And yeah, how about Bryce Harper? For the first time, going to be playing for Team USA. I love it, man. And this team is looking fantastic. We finally get to see Bryce Harper on the world stage. I'm very excited for this. And we wanted Bryce Harper to play 3 years ago. But I think because of injuries or he was dealing with other stuff that he couldn't do it. And the thing that I think I love the most about it, remember, Dave Dombrowski, the Phillies president of baseball operations, had some not so kind words for Bryce Harper after the season ended last year. Basically telling him to get better. You're not good enough anymore. And it seems like he's kind of taking that personal, as he had a quote over the weekend of when he was working out, he was hitting in the cage, and he had like a quote from Dombrowski that he told him or something. So the thing that I love the most about this is that we're gonna get a motivated, pissed off Bryce Harper in a tournament. That's the thing I love the most about this. And hey, yeah, there's a lot of lefties in this team, but there's some of the best lefties you can get for America. I'll tell you that right now. So I love it. This team is stacked, and hey, the more players we get, the more players we get that are starting to commit and stuff, it just makes me more excited for this tournament coming up in about 3 months from now. It's kind of crazy.
Absolutely. I can't tell you how excited I am that Bryce Harper's playing for Team USA. Not only is he playing, not only are we getting a bat in this lineup that is a motivated and pissed off Bryce Harper, like you said, I finally get to see what Brian Cashman fucked up on
Yep.
all those years ago. I finally get to see Aaron Judge and Bryce Harper in the same lineup. This is something I have been very vocal about. In recent years, if the Yankees missed out on one free agent, it's Bryce Harper. Bryce Harper should have been a Yankee in 2019, in my opinion. There was reports out that he wanted to be with the Yankees, that he wanted an offer from them and being able to, tour Yankee Stadium. I believe he grew up a Yankees fan. Um, the match was made in heaven, right? I still to this day will never forgive Brian Cashman for not signing Bryce Harper. And finally, I get to see Aaron Judge and Bryce Harper in the same lineup. I am super stoked about this. This is the guy who I tabbed in at first base, who I wanted, and this is who we get. So I'm super stoked for this. I cannot wait for the tournament. Um, we got a few months left. We're obviously going. You and I are super stoked about it. Yeah, no, I mean, there's nobody better that we could have asked for at first base. I mean, personally, I truly do think that this is the guy who DeRosa wanted. This is the guy who DeRosa got. I'm excited for the rest of this lineup and kind of see what how this roster evens itself out. So as of right now, we have Will Smith is on the bench. I mean, that's
That's how
insane.
stacked this team is.
Exactly. As of right now, Will Smith's on the bench, and I can't wait to see the rest of this. Can't wait to see the rest of the way this bench works itself out, the bullpen, the pitching staff. I'm excited for it, man. I truly am. So we'll see how it goes, but yeah, no. Bryce Harper was the guy who I wanted, and that's who we got. So can't wait, truly.
I've already mentioned this to you, but you said Will Smith's on the bench. Not for long, my friend. Not for long. It's okay. I'm telling you, we're not even gonna get out of group play in Houston, and Kyle Rawlings stinking up the joint, and swinging and missing at everything, and letting balls go past him. I'm telling you, you're gonna call out America's catcher Will Smith to get in there, a champion get in there, and who knows how to navigate big games and get big hits, and he's gonna do that again in a couple months here for Team USA. But we still got yes, we still have like four or five bench pieces that we can have. So I'm very interested to see, and we have like maybe three or four more spots for the bullpen. The rotation's pretty much set up. Skeen, Schoolball, Webb, and Ryan, and then obviously still need a couple guys maybe in the back end of the bullpen, or maybe like the middle relief guys because I think the back end's okay with Miller, Bednar, Boyd, but Clevenger. But we'll see Clay Holmes in there too. But I'm very excited. It sucks that Mookie Betts said that he's not going to be able to play for Team USA next year
Yeah.
because he is expecting another child. So congratulations to him. But he wanted to play, and I wanted to see it. And going back to Bryce Harper, in 2023 when we were in Arizona, I got a Mike Trout jersey
Mhm.
because I was like, well, this is the only time I'm going to be able to I'm going to root for Mike Trout because of Team USA.
Yeah.
I'm interested in a Will Smith jersey because this is the second time doing it. I'm not gonna lie to you, kind of interested in that Bryce Harper jersey a little bit.
It's understandable.
Like I think if we go to the team store and I see it, I might be tempted. I'm telling you, because Bryce Harper's been in my National League my whole life. With the Nationals, and we had a playoff series against him, and with the Phillies. But I've always rooted for him from afar. Like Bryce Harper's always been one of my favorite players. So, this is my chance. This is my opportunity to really get to cheer for him. And I'm telling you, man, like, I need to see these guys in their uniforms because right now we've only seen like photoshops and stuff. But
Mhm.
I think once they get to spring training, once you start seeing these guys like start to wear their Team USA stuff, I might get swayed to get some of these jerseys here. And I think Bryce Harper is going to be one of them. I'm telling you that right now. But
Absolutely.
so, yeah. So there's your Team USA WBC update. I don't know how many days we have left until the tournament starts, but I think we're approaching 50
Actually, we
days,
got
50 something days, 60 days, I think.
So I'll say from the time that we are going. Now, obviously, the tournament's going to be going on, but we have 66 days until we land in Houston.
Nice.
So,
We're
um,
getting there.
so yeah, that'll give you an idea of how many days.
There you go. Cannot wait. Cannot wait. All right. Well, we have made it to the end here of this episode. But before we get out of here and call it a day, we're gonna have some fun. We're gonna have some fun here a little bit. Um, let's do. See, I want to do New Year's resolutions here, but kind of just want to reflect a little bit on our
Mm,
2025 year. Of course, it was another big year for me. Of course, the Dodgers back to back defending champions, defending their crown, baby. Look at that gorgeous right here. I'm so happy that she's staying here with me. Um, just some of your favorite moments, man. Like just from the season or Yankees, anything. This is now the time to throw them out. Our
yeah,
trips went to Cooperstown again this
absolutely.
year.
Yes. Well, we obviously, Cooperstown will always stick out to me. Our trips that we take every year, I never take them for granted because they're never promised. The last few years we've been lucky enough to cover the Hall of Fame, and I hope that continues. But I know that it's not guaranteed, so I like to soak that up every chance that we go up there. So obviously that one sticks out to me. Um, I have to say, that I'd say like September going into October, man, for the Yankees. The Yankees finally got back on their winning ways, and they gave Toronto a run for their money to finish the regular season. Um, I still think that Boston series in New York in the postseason that really helped. Cam Schlittler kind of put the Yankees on his back. Um, but I think for me, the my number one, watching baseball this year, Aaron Judge having his postseason moment. I think just that was the cream of the crop for me. Aaron Judge has been, and listen, I also admit it. Aaron Judge is my favorite player, but he has not picked up for the Yankees in October, and he finally did this year. That homer that he hit against Toronto, man, I won't forget it. It was a big moment for me. Even though we knew that it was too little, too late, but hey, that moment sticks out for me. So I think overall, just another year doing this, man. It's been it has been a hell of a ride. It's been a crazy ass experience doing around the diamond with you, and obviously before Mikey left, and then we had Bobby and Matt. It's been a crazy ass experience, and it'll be something that I never take for granted. It'll be something I enjoy doing every single day of my life. That's going to continue. Don't get me wrong, but
No, yeah, this
you
is
know,
not like, see ya, we're never
no.
doing this again.
No, no, not at all. It's just a little bit of a reflection, another year in the books. We have plenty of things planned for around the diamond, but just at this moment, it's sometimes you get caught up in everything that you do, and you never really take a step back and really just reflect on what you've done, and kind of living in the present. I'm always thinking ahead, and I'm the first one to admit that I have trouble living in the present. So for me personally, I have to take a moment sometimes just to like look at what we've done, and what we've accomplished, and what we're going to accomplish. So it's a beautiful blessing that we get to do this, and I never take it for granted. So thank you, Mello, for another year. It's been a hell of a ride, and we're going to continue this thing until the fucking wheels fall off. We love doing this, and we love providing you guys with content. So yeah, no, it's just been another fantastic year for Around the Diamond, and for us personally.
Absolutely, and we'll get into resolutions right now, real quick. But before, uh, just some of my favorite moments. Of course, obviously Dodgers repeating as champions. That's easy. But I completely forgot because I am gonna make. I did this last year, but I'm gonna do this again. My top 5 games that I saw at Dodger Stadium in 2025. I completely forgot just because of the craziness of October and everything. July 2nd, 2025, the
Ooh,
night Clayton Kershaw got his
yeah,
3,000th strikeout. That is a day I'll never forget, man. Like, that was an emotional night. Of course, it went down to like the final inning. It was the hardest 5 innings I think of his career ever that I had seen, just to get 3 strikeouts. I'll never forget that. And of course, his last start in September against the Giants to help clinch a postseason spot. Um, I'll never. I can't. I honestly. I can't believe that when we get to Arizona in a couple months, that Clayton Kershaw is just not going to be there. Not on the roster sheet anywhere. It's kind of crazy. It hasn't hit me yet that he's just not going to be on the team. But getting to see Clayton Kershaw for one final time, that was very emotional. Um, of course, opening day, the banner ceremony, I'm never going to forget that. That was awesome. And I can't wait to experience that again here in a couple months in 2026. And with Around the Diamond, taking that solo trip to Tucson, Arizona for the World Baseball Classic qualifiers, that was pretty cool. It was kind of cool to just be in one location for basically a week and be at the ball field like all day from like 7:30 in the morning until like 10 o'clock at night. That was really cool too. So I'll never forget that. And just kind of the up and down Dodger season. I was over the weekend, I was kind of just screwing around here trying to make graphics and stuff, and I was listening back to some of our episodes from this year. I almost cringe at some of the things I said, man, about this Dodger team. I was very out on this team. I was not feeling it. I did not think they had another run in them. Now, I did say a lot of times, which saved me, I hope I was wrong. I hope I was wrong. But 2025 again was the dream year for my team, man. They went all the way. They went out on top again, repeated something no team had done in 25 years. And, if there's any message that I can send out there, it's don't stop believing, man. Like, never give up on your team. Like, it's easy for me to say because I've seen it back-to-back years, and I've seen it 3 times in 6 years. And, this franchise has been to the World Series 5 out of the last, 8, 9 years or whatever it is. It's hard, obviously, but don't stop believing, man. Your time will come. Just hopefully not in this window because it's my time right now. So just hopefully not anytime soon because you're in the Dodger Ohtani era, damn it. Get out of the way. So, but just kind of shifting over into our New Year's resolutions real quick. I'll start off with mine. I mentioned it at the beginning just to kind of give everybody an example. My first resolution, don't take the regular season so seriously. Now, that's easy for me to say because I'm a Dodger fan, and it's kind of, I've said this before, it's crazy that the Dodgers we can just go into next season, opening day, and you can just pencil the Dodgers in for 90 wins in a postseason spot. Like, that's insane. To play 162 games, that should not happen. That's not normal. To go into a season knowing that, hey, this team is going to the postseason, most likely, just got to remember, don't take the regular season so seriously. It's 162 games for a reason. Yes, every team goes through ups and downs, and with the Dodgers, you saw a lot of that in 2025, and they were still able to overcome it and win all these games to win the World Series again. So that's my first one. Don't take the regular season so seriously. Number two, try not to piss off the other fan bases so much. I understand that Dodger fans are kind of hated right now, and we're kind of, or actually, no, scratch that. That's not I like doing that. Here's my second one. Shit, now I just lost my complete. All right, here we go. This is my second one. Okay. After all, and listen, this is going to hurt me to say. It's not the end of the world if the Dodgers don't three-peat next year.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
It's not the end of the world. I had this conversation with my dad after they won the World Series. Because obviously, my coworkers know, my family knows, my emotions were all over the place these last couple of years in October. When they lose, I don't want to talk to anybody. When they win, I'm the happiest guy in the world in the playoffs. I'm going to do the best I can in 2026. If the Dodgers are out in the divisional round, or if they don't win the World Series next year, it's okay. It's okay. They've got the 2 in a row. This team is still good enough to be competitive every single year. It is not the end of the world if the Dodgers don't win it all next year. I'm saying this to everybody who's listening. Kyle has it on document too. So when I come in here in October and the Dodgers are out in round 1, Kyle has every right to show me this clip again and say, hey, don't come in here all pissed off and, freaking getting mad at everybody because you said it's okay if they don't three-peat. Of course, I want them to three-peat. I want them to go for the three-peat. But if it's okay if that doesn't happen. And my last one, my last New Year's resolution for my team going into 2026, enjoy it. Enjoy it, man. Like what the Dodgers have done these last couple years, it's unprecedented. It's not normal. And I think I've gotten so lost in the team just trying to win, and obviously with the content and stuff. Like, just enjoy it. some the last couple of years I haven't done a good job. I think of just enjoying it, but especially these last two Octobers, I wanted the team to win it so bad that the last 2 years I've been at the parade. It's my last day of work, and it's like, damn, like I really wish I would have enjoyed this ride a little bit more. Because again, I take every postseason loss, I take it so seriously, and I think it's the end of the world. And then every win, it's exciting, and I don't appreciate the wins enough. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. Because
Yeah.
because it's like, yeah, we won today, but we gotta win again tomorrow. We gotta get another one tomorrow. I think that's my last New Year's resolution. Just enjoy the ride more, because I think the last couple of years I've kind of disappointed myself and kind of failed to do that. So, and another side one for ATD, more stadium content. More stadium content. I think you're going to start seeing more of that in 2026. So, there's my resolutions for you. Happy New Year.
No, those are good, man. Yeah, so for the Yankees, man, I gotta say, number one, fundamentals, right? That's what it comes down to, man. I mean, this team has not been fundamentally sound on the ball field for the last couple of years now. I mean, defense has gotten us in trouble. Um, we do not run the bases well. This team is kind of a joke when it comes to fundamentals, and I think it's gone everywhere. I mean, even from Game Five of the World Series in 2024, when Aaron Judge, and listen, I will critique him. That is something you got to catch, man. And it's been like this for the last few years now. I think personally, you know, you just gotta that whole thing. It comes down to like the basics of baseball, right? It's the fundamentals, and I remember, you know, it goes back to t-ball, man. It's like that's what you are taught first is the fundamentals of baseball, and you just got to keep going, man. So that's number one for the Yankees. Um, number two, man, I think for me it's got to be do not waste the
Yeah.
prime of Aaron Judge, right? This listen, I think Aaron Judge is kind of overlooked a little bit when it comes to, and listen, like I'm not trying to sound like anything here, but I do think Aaron Judge is a little bit overlooked because he's also playing with another generational great, right? I actually had this conversation on Christmas with my cousin. So my cousin, he's a big sports fan. Um, he primarily likes football, but he refuses to watch baseball because of what the Dodgers are doing, right? And him and I were having a little conversation about baseball, and he, we got into a discussion about who's the best player in baseball, right? And obviously, it's Otani, right? It is what it is. But as I was pleading my case for Aaron Judge, he didn't want to hear me at all, right? So he's not necessarily appreciating what Aaron Judge brings, right? And he's a huge Cardinals fan, okay? And I'm thinking to myself, there's not much of a difference between Aaron Judge and Albert Pujols, dude. Dude, you watched Albert Pujols and you experienced him for all those years, and you said it to me before, like, do not take it for granted. And I'm telling you, I think that's what the Yankees are doing right now, man. They are not understanding what they have. Okay, so yeah, you had Jeter, you had Posada, you had Rivera, you had Pettit, you had all these guys. They brought championships. Okay, you can't expect Aaron Judge to do that alone. You got to build a team around him, and we almost did. Look what happened when we brought Juan Soto in. We were a few wins away from the World Series. Yeah, we got bounced, but you got to build off of that. And I feel like they've done a really shitty job of doing that. So we cannot waste Aaron Judge's prime, man. This guy is a generational player. Yes, he gets overlooked sometimes because of Otani, and I don't think people really appreciate what Aaron Judge brings to this game. Personally, I don't think I've seen a player like this in a very long time. And listen, I'm a Yankees fan, and I grew up with Jeter and the guys who I mentioned before. And Aaron Judge has made more of an impact to me than those guys. And I think that yeah, I'm probably going to be shit on for that. But listen, Aaron Judge, he brings a different aspect to this game, and he's an all around just ridiculous player. And I think the Yankees have wasted his prime for way too long, and it can't keep up. You got to get him one ring. That's all I ask. He needs to finish his career with one ring. And the hope is, you build enough team in the weak American League to reach the World Series, and then hopefully you could take down the Dodgers at that point. But that's kind of what my second New Year's resolution is. And I think third, it's got to be for me to not be so hard on one man individually, okay? And that's Aaron Boone, okay? I'm always hard on this
Wow.
guy. I know. It's a New Year's resolution for a reason. I have to understand that, like, at the end of the day, I truly do think that a lot of my anger and bullshit gets put on Aaron Boone when it should be put on Brian Cashman and Hal Steinbrenner. So I think for me personally, it's got to be understanding that Aaron Boone has his hands tied sometimes, and I have to be a little bit more, understanding of that. So, Aaron Boone, I'm rooting for you in 2026, man, and
Whoa.
I hope that you bring a championship to my Yankees. So, I'm gonna do my best not to be. I'm gonna critique him when he needs to be, but overall, I'm not gonna. I'm gonna go in with a clean slate and be on this guy's side at come spring training in Tampa. So, um, and then I think my last one, um, man, I think it's gonna be a little bit close to yours, but I think for me it's being present. Okay, so we've talked a lot about the lockout next year, and I don't think like that really hasn't set in quite deep with me quite yet. So I think for me it's to be present more. Um, I need to be more like as I'm watching these games, like all I watch 162 games of Yankees baseball every single year. I need to put my phone down. I need to just be present with what's going on. Or when we're at the stadium, I can't be. When we go to Houston, I want to be present during that. I don't want to be on my phone constantly saying, "Oh well, we need to make so much content, this, that, and the other." And don't get me wrong, we will, but I need to understand like when I see these players take the field playing for their country, I need to just soak that in and be there, you know. So I think it's just being more present because once this lockout hits, we don't know how this is going to affect baseball. So there could be new rule changes. There could be new behind the scenes ways of teams run. I'm sorry, how front offices runs teams. The financial side of things. It could ruin baseball as we know it. So I don't want to be a Debbie Downer when I say things like that, but at the same time, like I do want to be present in what we know of baseball now. I don't want these rules to fuck me up that bad that I don't enjoy this sport anymore. So um, I just want to be present and I want to be more focused on the things that bring me joy in life. And baseball is obviously one of them. ATD is another one. So just being more present within what we do at ATD. And I kind of touched on that. Um, I start to just think about the next thing that we're doing instead of just sitting there and saying, you know what, we've come a long way, and I want to soak in this for a little bit. So I'm going to start doing that when we land in Houston. I'm really going to soak that in, that experience, and what we're going to get out of that. So, um, yeah, I think that's my New Year's resolution, man. Um, 2025 has been great, but I know 2026 is going to be better, and I'm excited for what we're doing here, man. I truly am. So that's kind of my closing thoughts. But Mello, again, thank you for a great year with ATD. It's been such a hell of a ride, man, and we're going to continue doing this. So
Absolutely. Happy New Year to everybody. And um, again, I mentioned this when we won the World Series 2 months ago. These last 2 years have been a dream. Seriously. Watching my team become a dynasty, shut up all the haters, everything. It's been fantastic. If this is a dream, don't wake me up. Cause I'm pretty happy where I'm at right now. Don't wake me up from this dream if it is. So, with that being said, happy New Year to everybody. Enjoy it. Don't go party too hard. I don't need no JPP instances here. Blow off your hand or anything. enjoy it responsibly. Stay warm, everything, and we'll come back here next week. Have our first episode of 2026, and we'll take off from there. But once again, Happy New Year, and we'll see you in 2026. How about that? Adios.